Don't have any room left.
Just make me, oh, okay. All right. If you make me host, I can record on my.
All right. So we are making really good progress. Lori Brittingham and Lori Gunther and Melissa and I got together, and once you finally put it into the schedule, it's always like way better than you think it is. We have so many ideas, and we actually, Lori Brittingham and Stephanie and Sam and I got on the phone the other night and tried to tease apart the whole idea of primary nursing and kind of going over what was so exciting to us at the time. And really, it was more that everyone's facing the same challenges with the primary nursing. But we ended up pulling it apart a little bit. So before Lori talks about the title, why don't we kind of review where we're at? And then we can go back to the title again. So if you look at the email that I sent you yesterday, we have a meeting with Jody coming up soon. We know she's, down for the keynote, and we'll hopefully, follow along with the input that you guys gave last time, and also with the new title of the meeting. So basically what we did, Stephanie, what we really decided was that all her information and her passion about the different labels that we put on the families and staff, that was really the key to where we were trying to head with all this, and the damage that does to both groups of people. And so what we thought we might do is have a 1 hour session that Stephanie really goes into the labels, and she wrote a beautiful summary of it that I can send out to you guys that I just got this morning. And then Lori Brittingham has a great speaker that speaks about the health literacy. So think about the labels that you put on people and how that then impacts how the staff is educating the families and the damage that can do just by virtue of those labels. So we thought that might be a unique twist on the diversity and inclusion topic, that it's a little bit different. One seemed to flow nicely into the other one and bring up some points that haven't necessarily been covered in other conferences, and also positive. Again, we talked last time, some solutions, some good things that have come out of this. And I think the White House thing the other night, again, diversity, we think we have it, because we do Black Lives Matter, everything is great. And it's not. And to really look at all the labels and all the different facets of this that keep hitting us in the face. So if anyone has any comments about that, do you think we're on the right track with that? Does that sound like a good mash together of two topics?
Yeah, I think so. Absolutely. Primary nursing is just such a complex thing, and I can't speak for most NICUs. I can speak for my own NICU. It's the nurse's decision, when to primary someone and who to primary. And I think from my experience, it tends to more just be almost, I hate to call it this, but like a popularity contest where those parents that are more laid back, easygoing, fun with staff, they're going to have an insane list of primaries and staff almost fighting to care for them. But then I see on the alternative, it tends to be more our minority parents don't get as many primaries. I know it's our same-sex couple parents don't get as many primaries. So having that discussion about the whys behind that from both sides, parents and staff, I think is so important.
Go ahead.
All right, go ahead, Angie.
I think I'm muted. Hold on. Sorry. Okay. I agree with you 100%. Exactly what we're experiencing here. It's a super hot topic this year with our leadership team. And I have been going for the last 6 months and taking snapshots of our primary list. And there's no doubt there's some serious inequity between Black babies and white babies. There's just no doubt at all. So we have to fix this from so many different facets.
So Sam has offered to do a track session, submit an abstract. So we still think primary nursing is a hot topic, but that we decided it would be better in a track. The four of us did. So she's going to do primary care nursing challenges and opportunities in 2021. And yeah,
Angie, if you're interested in wanting to do that with me, I think if you have that great data, we could do it together if you want, if that's okay with everyone.
That'd be awesome.
No pressure, Angie.
Yes. We are starting a new project on the road with it, but we're getting rid of the word primary nursing because it has so many negative ideas and thoughts around it. So changing to care teams or core team for nursing, using an article. And we're also implementing a systematic process for consistent nursing care in the NICU. So maybe abandoning primary nursing and really focusing on consistent care teams. But I definitely, you and I can chat about what our plans are and then what I've seen so far.
I love that. So that could be the new twist, right? You know, primary nursing used to work. It's not working anymore. And part of this is because of the inequity stuff. I mean, it all's coming back to the same thing again, that we have so many problems and the spider web, right, goes out to so many different places. That would be awesome.
Just to clarify, is this a track session or is this a general session?
Track. The primary nursing is going to be a track session. We moved it.
Okay, it just seems to resonate so much. I worry about moving it off the main agenda. Just seems to everyone love
maybe
it.
with this new thing. So basically what it comes to is, do we have the primary nursing or do we have families? I guess we kind of booted the families out last time. And then when we decided, Sam thought there wasn't enough to do a whole hour on primary nursing, but maybe with Angie's data, Sam, and taking a different look at, you know, talking about consistent care team, maybe there is enough for an hour and we put it back in.
I think maybe we could do, but I don't know, Angie, what you think is maybe talk about the inequities and the models available and how do we go forward? Like maybe talking about models of nursing.
I think if we were a little farther down the road, we could do an hour, but I'm feeling like 30 minutes is probably, 30 minutes worth of meaty stuff is what we have. Plus, I feel like the family stuff is pervasive through every NICU. And so I'm always thinking what's going to make people pull out their checkbook and write a check to come to this conference. I feel like the family stuff affects everybody.
That was kind of what I said the other night when even at NAN this past year, the speakers that the feedback that I got from the staff that I have that attended said the speaker that was the neonatologist that spoke about her experience, and then the NP who had a 23-weeker, like it really resonated with people, and they said they were never going to look at things the same way again.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so let's just keep going down through. So the next one was the well-being person, and I don't know why I didn't put the more information in there, but we all agreed to that, like talking about moral distress, but really focusing again on well-being. How are we going to move from all this, psychological stress and physical stress and moving into a state of well-being? I think that's really going to resonate with people. The parent experiences, we talked about that it was important to get two diverse parents. We thought two would be better than one. Try to get, at least one set of parents from a more, low socioeconomic perspective and how they got through COVID versus someone like, I'm assuming that Amy probably had a different experience, but we need to talk to her. So let's continue. We can continue to flesh that out. But if anyone has a great parent that they already know that was there through COVID, that might be willing to share their experiences and, has some good points, please let us know, because I think that personal association is going to be really key.
Emma, I was thinking, Lori, can you reach back to your partners at March of Dimes for any big family members? I know we always have those at the chef's auctions and things. There's always those key families that speak that have quite the story. So
yeah,
and a lot of diversity.
I can certainly do that. Melissa, I can ask Laura. She's in that family advocacy role at Children's and see if she's got any good families. They have a fairly diverse NICU there.
Yeah. Okay.
And
hey, it's Francesca. We might have someone here because we also have a March of Dimes NICU Family Support Program coordinator. So I can speak with her and decide if there's anyone that would fit this.
Great.
Same here. I could probably find a parent as well.
Super. So maybe we could just meet offline. I'll contact you guys and Stephanie also had thought that she might have a parent too. So let's take that up next week, maybe through email, see if we can come up with somebody. So the day two keynote is going to be awesome. Just coincidentally, Lori Brittingham had read her book and didn't even, oh no, she had read the book on the well-being person and said she was terrific. So the day two keynote, Amy Edmondson. Lori, have we had any luck with her? Gunther?
No, I haven't reached out to her yet. Stephanie, I kind of, after our call last night, I was thinking about it all night. I know Monica is new to us, but she was I just couldn't sleep last night thinking about our conversation. Francesca, you were on the call too. I felt like for one thing, she could be with us in person at the dual event in November, but do you feel like she needs to be on the agenda? I just thought she spoke about sort of implicit bias. I don't know, Stephanie, what do you think?
Definitely. I think that she obviously brings that real life perspective that we're looking for and how to persevere through it anyway. I'm not sure if she would, I don't know how she would feel about being on the stage in that way, but I definitely think she had the passion, she had the charisma, she had the ability to present that real life and what she's trying to do about it in a new unit.
I agree, Stephanie. The one thing that in all of our discussions over the last few months about this that I try and be cognizant about is putting all of the onus on people of color to explain this to other people. So I think she would probably want to participate for sure, but definitely, making sure we ask her if she's comfortable with that, and because we want her perspective, not because we expect her to educate all of us. You know what I mean?
No, she's actually reached out to us as though she wants to be leading that conversation. So she came back after the November conversation and said, how do I do this? I want to be a lead voice on this for us. So I'm sure she would be fine with that. We would just need to approach her.
And we don't have anybody yet tackling the idea of equity and inclusion aside from the person whose perspective is around health education, correct?
Well, and the labels. So that was our diversity topic, the labels that led into, health inequity and in health literacy, which is really, huge, impacts the families, down the road once they leave the hospital as well. So again, the who do we take out? I think that the panel that we talked about, the COVID and beyond, or never have I ever, I think people are really going to resonate with that, unless one of those could be a track. That's the other thing. I mean, we can move any of these into a track session. Mm-hmm. So is there anything is Monica, Stephanie, you probably have a good feel for this because you've been on a number of conversations. Is this a whole new perspective? Are we overdoing now the whole diversity stuff? Does she have good suggestions? Is it more of the same? Do people already know and understand this? Looking at this agenda here, we're trying to be positive and move forward and look at the new NICU in 2021.
She's also a perinatal person too, so I wonder if she might be more appropriate if we're talking about her kind of overcoming hurdles as a new leader in a leader in a new unit too.
And that would also give her a little more time to get settled, because on the call last night, she was talking about all the rapid fire change that's happened in the last little bit, her move, her new position, all the things. That might be, I don't know what all she's got on her plate, but it sounded like a lot.
Okay, that's fine. We can move her to that topic. We might even, Melissa, maybe we want to think about putting her on one of the town halls. Yeah, there's some chatter on the side box there, Kathy. You all are in favor of a parent panel. Hi, Maureen. Maureen says a parent panel is awesome and usually provides great insight, maybe from all over the country. I like that idea. What do you think we could get for parents from different NICUs, different experiences?
I'm confident I could find a parent. We've had plenty who have been very articulate, but in an appropriate way about their feelings. I have had those, and I've had the other ones that yelled and cursed at me. But I've have some who are very articulate and would be happy, I think, to participate.
All right, so let's, Luann and Francesca and Stephanie and anyone else say they had a parent? And Lori will try March of Dimes, and Melissa, let's get on a separate email, see if we can get, again, finding a different perspective. Someone mentioned hand to hold. That sounds awesome too.
And it would be great to have maybe some moms and dads, not just the mother perspective, because we always kind of lean towards the moms, but.
Thank you for saying that.
Can I ask a crazy question? Could we try to, and I don't know if this is possible, to hear from different types of couples besides like just like a husband and a wife, like if it's like two dads, two moms, because I think they also have an entirely different perspective. And there was
and that goes to our diversity and inclusion kind of theme as well. I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, perfect. Awesome. I think that can be really strong. I think that's going to be really great.
So who wants to be lead on helping put this panel together? We're going to need one of you to be the lead to help us with this, to make sure we get the families. Luann?
Yeah.
Anybody else?
Yeah, I already have the names written down. So Luann and Stephanie and Francesca and you and me and so Luann said she'd be the lead, but yeah, we're good. Okay, so let's talk about the final panel. We need, all of you guys are amazing speakers. Even if you spoke at the last one, I still think it's valid to speak at this one. So we're really looking at innovation. So things I never thought I'd do it, and now it's going to probably be the new standard of care. Or I never thought I'd do it, and we'll probably do it again. Never do it again. But I think that's really people are going to love this. They're going to think it's so fun. So who wants to be on that panel, and what's your shtick? You all had good ideas when we talked about it in the first place. So even Francesca, you had, the stuff that's going on at NYP. I think you should either do that as a track session, or that could be some of the stuff that you do, just the new committees that have been formed because of it.
Yeah, I was going to say I'd be happy to do our diversity work maybe as a track session, because it's very interdisciplinary. But we're also having a hospital group now too. But then for that innovation thing, I don't know if this would fit, and I apologize, I'm outside. What about our virtual NICU program, which facilitated family communication with the patients during the pandemic? But it was something we were going to start before the pandemic and couldn't, and then we started it during the pandemic, and now we're definitely going to keep doing it forever, probably. So that was something new for us this year. Yep. I don't know if that's what you're looking for.
Yeah. Yep. So let's just put ideas out. Even if you don't want to talk about it, if you've heard about it or seen it, what else is new or have you done that you never thought you'd do? Okay, maybe this isn't going to be a good topic.
Maybe this could be just individual track sessions too, that we could put this out in the call for abstracts as recommended jumping off points.
I have something we did.
Go ahead.
I had something we did, but I don't know if it's media enough. But when all the changes were happening in our unit very quickly, when COVID started and PPE became scarce, is that we started first thing in the morning, sent to our Facebook page, questions, worries, concerns, and then every day, essentially at 1 o'clock, we had a Facebook Live where we answered those questions. And so I feel like, if we ever get in a situation like that again, where things are changing quickly and people are anxious about it, that we will probably use that medium again, because literally we had 110 out of the 138 nurses on Facebook Live watching, those questions get answered. But I don't know if that's, groundbreaking enough.
Well, it was successful. So you communicated with staff in a successful way. I think that, a lot of people weren't successful. Right? I mean, communication is a huge problem.
Yeah. And then at one point when we felt like we weren't alleviating staff fears, then on the Facebook Live, we had our pediatric infectious disease doctor on. So then we added someone in, who really was the expert to see if that would help with some of the anxiety.
Okay. Great. David?
I was just going to say, I think a lot of changes that happened, related to COVID weren't just NICU specific. And I know for us, telemedicine has blossomed in the age of COVID. And, we've always had telemedicine with us in our NICU. We were kind of innovative in that for years, but it really has flourished in, being able to keep babies in their home facilities and not transfer them. So that the parents are not only separated by facility and being outside the facility, but also, distance, and then in a facility they can't access. So I don't know, there's probably something in that for someone to talk about, like the telemedicine aspect of it all. Mm-hmm. But it does kind of branch outside of not just NICU. Like we're doing outpatient visits now. The practitioners are at home. They're not even coming to the office because they're doing all their work from home, which is fantastic.
So Kathy, maybe we could put a pin in this and come back to it so that we can flesh out some ideas around a title.
Sure.
So that we can, so do we essentially have our, enough to have 4 main speakers so that we could try to launch registration next week?
Yes.
Okay. So Lori, I'm going to punt it over to you. No, you don't want to?
You sure? There was this whole, so taking a step back, as we look at all the titles you guys threw out, we've been meeting with a marketing sort of executive to help us speak to people to come to our virtual event. So as you just said, Angie, what would be the hook? Mm-hmm. And she is encouraging us to come out with a short title that could just really be absolutely, I need to be part of this, versus it being a bit more cerebral and the way that we could for an in-person event. And over the past 10 days, Melissa and I have been talking to all of you, listening, all of this other stuff. And what has come down to it, and Melissa, you typed it last night.
I just typed it to you again too. So we had this idea of kind of really hitting it hard. And so listen to this and we'll take some feedback and changes. But we had the idea of the title being Speaking Our Truth, Healing and Change. So that gets to both of kind of the main buckets that we're talking about with the diversity, equity, and inclusion, as well as COVID. So.
And Angie, we were very, I think I took quite a while to probably respond to your email to the group, but there was this feeling of here in this community that we can speak our truth, we can talk about. This is a place where we can share as leaders the challenges that we have had and feel like this is a place where we can process, but also get some community support and help. Mm-hmm. And I think when we are together in person, we are going to back that up with the, where do we go from here? That kind of recovery mode. But my counselor brain is on. The first thing we have to do is to bring the truth here to the table and let you all process together. And we have your groups to be able to do that. We will have an agenda that really is about speaking what you've been through. And so I know I'm doing a hard sell here, but to me, what you said was, this is your platform. Let's come together. We are virtual, but you can speak your truth here together and begin that healing process, because it will be a process.
I think that what I'm kind of sensing is that the title doesn't really say what you just said. So you have to give that whole big long explanation about it. It just doesn't. I don't think it's catchy. as
And once Lori explained it, I'm like, holy smokes, that's exactly what it is. But how can we make a little catchy title that encompasses what Lori just said? Now that you say what speaking your truth means, I'm like, oh yeah, absolutely.
What about like coming together for healing and change or something? Like adding maybe a few more words just to talk about, like, give that sense of community. David, you go.
No, I was just going to say, I think to tie on this, and not to be Debbie Downer here, but say it to me again the way you said it the first time.
Me? Okay. Speaking our truth, healing and change.
I like that. And I think something to keep in mind is that this whole thing going back, and you don't want to say COVID ever again, but we have to, but how stressful this has been, not only on patient and families, but remembering, and I'll try not to get choked up because it's bad, remembering how stressful this is on our teams. We just recently lost a male nurse who committed suicide on Christmas Day because of the overwhelming feeling of isolation and stress and fear, along with some other things in his life. And it was an awakening, I think, for me and a lot of our team, because he had posted on Facebook that day. We had all reached out, hey, do you need something? And then it still happened. So I think remembering that, I like that title, because I think that we could do a lot with that title, basically is where I'm going. Because I think there should be a component, and Lori, this is like right up your alley of counseling, but there should be a component of, we get in this and we get so focused on our families and our, babies and the families, but we forget a lot of times, even though we want to talk about the nurse leaders and how to lead the change, what about those people? Like, what can we do for those people who are in that situation? Because I know he's not the only one that's happened to. We've seen it all across the news. And I just think if we could address something about that in that as well, that'd be great. But I do like that short title. And I think if you really want something that's kind of the hook, I think it needs to stay short and not add words, because I'm sure your media person would tell you you might as well go back to your long title if you start adding to it.
Well, David, and I think, I could guess maybe for all of you leaders that you are not going to focus on your own healing and recovery from what we've been through until your team is okay. And so I think having that element, Kathy, we had talked with Lori Brittingham about her wellness person and talking about how you can help your teams so that you can help them along, so then you can then focus on yourselves too.
I just like stronger words. Like, look at some of the chat there too. Last time someone at the end said, go boldly. What can we say that's more actionable or more, that stand out? I don't know. I think that it doesn't say enough of what you want to say. That's my initial feel about it. New reality, Nick, you go boldly where we haven't been before. Heal boldly. I don't know. I like that word boldly, not that we have to use it, but some stronger word. So someone had speaking our truths. Look at over here. Oh, there's Lori. Yeah. Mending and building, or I don't know. Leave it to the two of you, but.
I'm going to take this and I'm going to send, or Kathy, can you send this to, and if we can all just this morning take a stab at what you would see the title or what would speak to you. I do like the mending idea, but to me, this is, yes, we are usually that power, like empowerment zone. I'm not feeling that from you guys yet. Like, I'm sure we'll get there and we will have a lot of opportunity through our town halls and then the in-person event to get there. To me, I feel like there needs to be a chance to just say what you've all experienced.
I agree with you, Lori. And I think one thing that maybe we don't think about doing in these situations and conferences, but I think being vulnerable is important, and admitting that we're not okay. You know what I mean? Like, we're not okay. We might think we are, but we're not.
Yeah.
And
Right.
we all have some healing and mending to do. So I like that.
Ooh, I like that. The face behind the mask.
Oh.
I like that too.
Maureen,
That's awesome.
Speaking our truth as nurse leaders.
Mhm.
I don't even think you need to say as nurse leaders. I think that's assumed. You could just say speaking our truth, the face behind the mask. But that it doesn't necessarily give more information where we're trying to get more
But it's
information.
got some punch to it. I think if it's gonna be like, you know, it jumps at you, you know, we're looking for something that's gonna jump, and then they're gonna, regardless, even the first title you came up with, you're gonna have to read the sessions to find out, to understand more of what you mean.
So we
you-
want to capture their attention.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, do you guys like that one? Let's all think on it, but I'm hot to trot on launching registration. I want to get this show on the road.
Oh, Luann, I like that. Speaking our truth, faces behind the mask.
Yeah, I like that. Because it is true. We have to put on the face of the leader, but that's the mask of the leader, but that's not the face that we are really behind it.
I like it.
And we have to do it everywhere. We have to do it, you know, at work, at home, at everywhere, because we have to be the strong one in all of those situations. This is our one opportunity to get together and just not have to be strong.
Well, and we spoke a bit about that last night too on the debrief call when, you know, everything was kind of going to hell a couple of days ago. And as leaders, you have to be brave while your team is scared. And I mean, that's the truth in, you know, always that you're leaders in all, you know, all situations that you confront. So I think this could create some great, you know, interest in track sessions as well, but fits nicely with where we've gone with the general session.
I agree.
Essentially taking off the mask and being vulnerable.
I agree. And then to Kathy's point earlier when she asked, were we kind of, you know, beating the diversity part a little to death or in the ground? And my answer to that was going to be, after the events of 2 days ago, I don't think we can talk about it enough.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sounds like our dance is going to be a masked dance.
Oh, yes. Yes, Angie.
I love it, Angie.
So I just broke the news to David that, but I haven't told Barbara yet, so you guys can't say anything. But we are not necessarily planning to do a party at the virtual event. If anybody has any strong opinions, feel free to email or text me. And we're going to save up for a really, really awesome party at the November event where I hope to see all of your faces.
I can't wait.
So that's the plan, but I'm open to feedback.
Yeah, you
I'm
guys.
sure she'll give you plenty.
Yeah, I was going to say, we don't need to give you any. We'll let Barbara do that.
Yeah.
Guys, you're the best. Thanks. All right. Thank you, everybody. This was
All
Thank
right,
you.
thank
Good
you
seeing
guys are
everybody.
Awesome. Thank you. We'll put more out on email.
Sounds
Bye.
good.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Lori and
Thank you.
Melissa, can you stay on?
Sure.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks, Maureen. Bye.
Let's see.
You guys.
Bye. Thanks, Gabe.
All right.
Yeah, that was,
Kathy.
yeah. It's just hard on those, you know, you can just read so much into it. So anyway, Lori and I hopefully at some point can meet with Jody. So we'll have her keynote done. Lori, you've got to go out after that. The day 2 keynote, Amy Edmondson, we need her for the.
Well, we need to talk to Pampers first because it's their symposium. So technically they typically pick the speaker. I mean, Laura's not Vero.
So, but I mean, she's going to be a big draw. The labeling and the health literacy thing, that I know that might not sound that is interesting to you, but you can certainly see from your March of Dimes hat. I mean, it's got strong.
That was my whole thing, Kathy, was health literacy.
Okay, great.
So I just need, who are our 4 people that are going to be on the brochure? So Jody and Dave. And then we need someone of color. So we need 4 people with titles and descriptions, and one of those has to be Black.
Right, so that's what I was just saying. So Jody, we need to have that Amy person. We need the Amy Edmondson person. I think she's.
first, can you stop recording, Kathy? Because we're done with the thing. But Melissa, can we open the actual schedule? Like, do you have a schedule? Because I'm having a hard time just seeing if